Hi, welcome to another edition of Minds on the Markets. I'm Steve Kussin. In this groundbreaking series, we take teachers and students on virtual field trips of the world markets. If you notice, I'm wearing green today. Green jacket, green shirt, green tie, because today we're going behind the scenes of the banking industry. Our guest is Mr. Andrew Corrado, Market President for Long Island for Capital One Bank. Mr. Corrado, what led to your current career in commercial banking?
Out of college, I actually interned with a bank called Citibank, a very well-known organization, and I kind of got the feel for banking back then when I was 20 years old, a junior in college. Coming out of college, I joined an organization called Lincoln Savings Bank and spent 23 years in various organizations in a marketing capacity, doing and learning various aspects of marketing for financial institutions. It wasn't until 2004 that I was actually asked to take a sales leadership role, becoming a district manager for North Fork Bank when they acquired Greenpoint Savings Bank. Looking back now, I really never thought that that would happen, and it was a great opportunity for me to really take everything I've learned in 23 years of marketing and really start to deploy it in a sales leadership role. Haven't looked back since.
You mentioned the magic word for me, internships. I know many of my students got their start that way. Tell us, how important is an internship to launch a career in finance?
I would say that they're critical. Internships really give you a great opportunity to get your feet wet in an organization. It starts the networking process, which is critical for our young students. They need to understand what it is, what's real life all about in an organization, and there's no better way to do it than to actually get into an internship and get in an organization early on.
There are so many different types of banks. There are savings banks, credit unions, commercial banks. What distinguishes a commercial bank from the others?
Commercial bank really focuses on your commercial businesses, small business, middle market, government banking entities, whereas your credit unions and your local savings banks really focus on retail, your consumer, your everyday banking needs for the consumer.
What role does a commercial bank play in helping a business grow and expand?
The commercial banks play a critical role in Fortune 100, Fortune 1000 firms across the country. We partner with these companies to try and solve their everyday financial needs. Everything from their day-to-day banking and depository solutions to their more complex growth solutions with loans, lines of credit, and financing options.
Let's go to the flip side. From the client's perspective, what does a client look for in a banking relationship?
From a consumer perspective, a bank has to be a great provider of service. They have to be a trusted agent for that client. And it's all about being able to provide great quality service at a great price that's convenient for many of our consumers. Convenience is, I think, today one of the major deliverables that a bank has to provide in the marketplace. And we, look for various different ways to do that, from online banking to our branch network, right down to our call centers.
What types of products and services does a commercial bank offer to its clients?
In addition to everyday checking and savings products and investment products that we provide, such as a money market account, we provide complex solutions to help a business owner become much more efficient and effective with their cash. So, as we know, corporations across America make purchases just as we do every day. And with those purchases, they have to make payments. So from a payments perspective, we provide solutions to make those payments much more efficient in the way of Fed wires, ACH, which are electronic payments, which make for a particular company much more efficient so that they can make those payments electronically as opposed to by check. It's a much easier record-keeping process for these companies, and it's an electronic payment. As a banker, we become a trusted agent to a particular client. And so what do I mean by that? We really get in with the actual owner and we understand their cash flow. We look at the ways in which they're getting their receivables in. And they're also making their payments, all of the payables. So, we not only get into very deep conversations about their particular situation, but we also have line of sight to the competition, right? We not only bank them, but we bank their competitors. And so, not that we divulge privacy or personal information about those particular companies, but we understand the market, we understand the dynamics of that particular industry, and we really consult with them on how things should operate, what their expectations should be as far as returns on investments, what their expectations would be for how they operate in that particular field. So we not only provide a trusted agent role, but we also provide a consultative role as well. The loan-making process is a complex one, especially in today's economic situation. I would say to you that it all is based upon the particular entity's cash flow.
Mr. Corrado, you have a terrific reputation for giving back to the community. Why do you think this is so important, and can you give us some examples of things you've done?
There are two in particular. One obviously is Hofstra University. I've been a leader here on campus for the last 3 years, very involved with the alumni organization, specifically the Zarb School of Business. And the reason is, again, is really trying to give back to a new generation of students coming out into the workforce and really being able to give them the advantage that I in particular didn't have. So helping them along the way and really helping them pave their way, creating the opportunity so they don't make the same errors I made. And I think it's very important that we give back to the community. I think as leaders, it makes us whole and it helps us remember where we came from. And there's nothing more inspiring than to help another individual or another company be just as successful. And so I've taken that on. The organizations that I've been in particular admiring from a distance and actually participating with are organizations around children, specifically Big Brothers Big Sisters of Long Island. I've been an active member with that organization for close to 20 years, realizing the childhood I had and realizing a childhood many of these children don't have. You see the gap. And so to be able to give back to a child and put a smile on their face is just overwhelming.
And our final question, one which I ask to all of our guests. What advice do you have for our students who are considering a career in business, banking, or finance?
So specific to banking, but more importantly, specific to any business out there, I think the art of communication is essential. And so I would ask the students today to think about the way in which they communicate and the importance of oral communication and written communication in any business. While we today, most of our young students really focus around texting, and while that is an art of communication in and of itself, I would suggest to you to really practice and really focus on your ability to communicate orally and in the written form. That in the business environment today is essential. I would say to you that it's a long journey for any career, but start early. And what do I mean by that? Seek out those internships that are critical to your career. And if it's in finance, look to the banks for a summer internship or a mid-year internship as part of your learning at any college. I think it's critical that you really get your foot in the door, start networking with leaders. It's important for you to understand how critical that is to your success. Once you learn who the important people are, to be able to network and leverage them as part of your connections going forward is really essential to your career success.
Thank you, Mr. Corrado, for being with us today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
And thank you, teachers and students, for joining us for another edition of Minds on the Markets. I'm Steve Kussin.